Alrighty. I think we are live. Hopefully you all can hear me. We're getting this started. It seems 2 minutes early, but I hope you're okay with that. So, let's. Well, before I really get into it, let's make sure that everything's working. All right. So, if y'all can hear me, let me know. If you can see me, let me know. Then we can get started. All right. Oh, do you hear that? That's my cat. She's decided that literally the moment that I go live, she wants to play. So she's now like bringing in her toys and making cat sounds. So, sorry, honey, you're gonna have to wait an hour. I've got some people that need me. I'll be with you. I'll be with you as soon as I can. All right, so cool. I'm here. You're here. This is great. I just thought it would be cool to like jump online and do a live stream, a slightly different format. Usually when I'm live streaming, I'm either doing it on Facebook or Instagram, and if I'm live streaming here on YouTube, it's when I'm getting my ass kicked at Call of Duty. So yeah, just figured we'd do it slightly different, and talk about this new album thing that I have just kind of miraculously decided to do. And wanted to kind of let you guys know what I'm planning to do and get some feedback from you guys, what you're hoping to hear, expecting to hear. Well, maybe more like uh, what kind of formats you want, all of that kind of shit. Because, I think a lot of people are aware of this, but I think some other people are not. Aesthetic Perfection is now like 100% independent, right? So that means that I don't have a manager, I don't have a label, I don't have any sort of like crazy financial backers. Like, this is all me. And anything that I do is either because I want to do it or because I want to do it for all of you. And that's kind of like what brought me to where I am now, where I feel like it's time to make a record. Um, I've spent a number of years like really pushing this whole singles thing, which I still believe to be the future, right? Like, I still believe that the future of music is going to be in digital singles released in short duration, not a whole lot of time between one another. And that long form art is like slowly kind of going away, especially with physical media going away. Um, but you guys have been kind of relentless in your demand for a new record from me. So when you guys talk, I do listen, and I'm always willing to try something different. Even if I feel like something is the way to go, doesn't mean that I'm right, and it doesn't mean that trying something new can't be fun and adventurous, I guess. So, yeah, with all of that said, I'm going to make a new record because you guys want it, and it seems like a fun, crazy kind of thing to do. So now we just gotta kind of fucking figure out how we're gonna do this, and that's where you guys come in. So yeah, let's just kind of like open up the floor and I'll answer whatever questions you guys have about the record, that anything else that you may want to discuss. Mainly, like from you guys, I just kind of want to know what formats you want. Like, there are so many of you that are still really kind of like into CDs, and uh, how many of you really are into CDs, or how many of you out there really are like diehard fucking CD fans? And uh, I think that might kind of like give me an idea of how many I need to make, because I've never made CDs before, so now I gotta, I gotta do it. All right, so let me field the questions. This fucking bar's been going. All right, here we go. Oh man, that's a lot of it. All right. Hey, Zorak says, "Hey, why did you stop shaving your eyebrows?" Uh, dude, I stopped shaving my eyebrows when I was like, I don't know, 18. That was something I did in high school. Nice new neck tattoo, says Jose. Thank you, Jose. Inez Neal asks, how do you feel about new wave retro? I think it's cool. I grew up in the 80s. I have a bit of nostalgia for that time. However, I'm not sold on the idea that the future of music is going to be found by looking at the past. Obviously, we should be looking at the past to get inspiration for the future, but this whole wave of nostalgia-based music doesn't seem like it's pushing the genre forward in any way. Release a cassette tape. You got it, Inez. I will release a cassette tape. Malice says, the fact that you've never played Vancouver is absolutely criminal. Actually, Malice, we have played Vancouver, but it has been a long time. I don't think I've played Vancouver since 2012. So that's 6 years ago now. Shit. Jen, please come back to Tijuana. Yes, that is the plan. All right. We want all the music in all the formats. Vinyl it up. Don't worry, we will be making vinyls. The plan right now is to make a limited run of cassettes, a limited run of vinyl, and then halfway decent pressing of CDs. However, I don't want to go too far with it because I understand that right now physical media is just more of a niche market, right? Like it's not something that the majority of people are using to consume music right now. So I will be making the record on multiple formats, and I think that I'm going to make each one different so that the track listing and content of each format is different. That way, you guys get something special in each one. Journey, I use YouTube for music now. I don't even have the method to play CDs while away from home. I don't even have a CD player. I have a CD player in my car, but I don't even have a disk drive in my fucking computer. So I have no idea how I would even rip a CD if I were to get it. Dream Cipher, whatever happened to Necessary Response? Dude, where you been? Necessary Response died and then was reborn as Aesthetic Perfection back in 2015. I took all of those old songs, remixed them, re-sang them, and released them as Aesthetic Perfection because that album was never, ever, ever, ever supposed to be a side project. Those songs were written as Aesthetic Perfection in 2004 and 2005, and my goddamn motherfucking label made me create a new band because those songs weren't heavy enough for Aesthetic Perfection. So fuck that. Necessary Response has always been Aesthetic Perfection, and now it is. So fuck that project. No offense. Any ideas on having artist feature? Well, part of my sort of let's say, methodology behind this record is to work with as many different collaborators as possible. That's different producers, um, different studio musicians, you know, whatever, guitarists, pianists, singers, whatever. Like, I've always worked alone, and within the last couple of years, I've gotten a lot more comfortable kind of sharing the creative process with other people, especially other people who I really, really respect and admire. And so I do have a very short list of people that I would like to work with on this record. The goal is to have every single song be a collaboration of some sort, something along the lines of rhythm control, right? Like, so how rhythm control had Nix and William Control and Jinx. Like, I thought that was really, really cool because each person brought their own vibe to the song and made it something that it wouldn't have been had I done it on my own. So, collaboration is incredibly important to me right now and for this record. And, you know, like I said, I've got a short list of names of people that I want to work with. But if you guys have suggestions, I'd really love to hear it because I want to make this as I want to make this as a why can't I talk today? What's the word when it's a whole lot of different stuff? Varied. I want to make this as oh, people are texting me. Look at that. Yeah, I want to make the record run the gamut with guests from all different kinds of scenes, all different kinds of talents. Like, that's really, really important. Diverse. That's the word I'm looking for. I want the record's guests to be as diverse as possible. Oh, my wife is telling me good luck with your streaming thingy. I'm already streaming. Ada asks, who will be playing the drums live now? We have a replacement drummer for the upcoming shows in Europe. So we will be a three-piece once that gets underway. As for the future, I do not know. I'm talking to a couple of different people right now, a couple of different possibilities. We'll see how that works out. But to be honest, I'm not in any rush because right now I'm working on an album. So finding a new live band for our tours in 2019 is not at the top of my list. Like, right now, my priority is the record. Yeah, Lola says eclectic. Eclectic is also a great word. It's probably better than diverse. Eclectic. I want the album to be eclectic. There we go. Almut, I stopped buying CDs completely, just streaming and downloading nowadays. Still, I would like something tangible of my favorite artists, maybe a booklet with lyrics or something like that. I have considered the idea of just like an art book, so photography, lyrics, that type of stuff. So more of a coffee table collectible than a piece of physical media. So yeah, if you guys would be interested in having like a nice hardcover booklet of the CD art that doesn't actually contain the CD, please let me know. That's definitely something to consider because I know that people like being able to sit there and read the lyrics, kind of allow the artwork to speak to them while they're listening to the record. I mean, at least that's what it was like for me back when I was a kid, right? Like, I would go to the record store, buy a new CD, and then sit at home in my bedroom, like with the door locked and my headphones on, just like listening to it and flipping through the art book and just getting this kind of experience that you don't really get anymore. Grüße aus der Heimat an deine Frau. Well, thank you, Psycho Erdbärchen. Uh, aus der Heimat. Are you in Austria? All right. I see a lot of votes for Sven Friedrich. So maybe we'll get on the line and talk to Sven. Does Apple Music pay you the same as iTunes? I forget. It's close. Oh wait, no. No, because Apple Music is their streaming service, right? No, of course not, because you don't get paid the same amount for streams as you do for purchases. And, the iTunes store is closing next year, so that means that Apple won't even be allowing people to purchase MP3s through their store anymore. The store is closing. So we are really seeing like the death of purchased music in our world, right? Like I'm sure within 20 years, maybe even less, probably 10 years, maybe there just will not be anything but streaming services for any kind of media. Now there are pros and cons to this world. But instead of kind of like focusing on the way things used to be and how I would like them to be that way again, I'm more concerned with surviving in the world as it is. So, in a world of streaming where you don't get paid a whole lot per stream, you've got to focus on other ways of making money, and DJ gigs, production gigs, all that kind of like side work. You got to hustle to be a professional musician. It's not like you can just sit back and collect royalty checks, at least not anymore. So I'm cool with that. I like DJing. I like producing other bands. But another way that's really, really great for artists like myself, artists that do not have any sort of financial support backing from companies or I'm certainly not independently wealthy. Patreon has been a really, really wonderful experience, and I'm super grateful to the 174, 75 people who appreciate my work enough to contribute to it monthly, and that's something that I'm going to be developing even more in the future, because I've decided not to do this album, even though it's going to be totally independent and self-financed. I've decided to go a different route than traditional crowdfunding, like Indiegogo or Pledge Music campaign. The way that I think that I'm going to do this is mostly through pre-orders, and let people that don't want to be heavily involved with the creation or process, kind of behind the scenes stuff. They just want their vinyl and they don't give a shit about anything else. I'm just going to make pre-orders there for them through my web store, and I'll be launching a new web store shortly, which is going to make the whole fucking process way easier than it's ever been. And then with Patreon, that's going to be for the people that want to be more involved, contribute monthly, get some like sneak peeks in the studio, perhaps have the ability to vote on new music videos. Obviously patrons get early access to things like concert tickets. They'll get early access to pre-orders. That means like the super limited physical stuff like CDs and vinyls and things like that. Like they're all going to get first dibs at those. So probably for a month or two before pre-orders become public. And that's kind of like where I think I'm going to go with this, is just have two different areas where people can get involved as much or as little as they'd like. And then, you know, if you don't want any part in this, you can also just fucking wait till the record comes out and stream it on Spotify. It's all good. Journey asks, speaking of tangible collectibles, posters are still cool, right? I don't know. Are posters still cool? People still buy them in my web store sometimes. But I don't know how many people still put up posters. Do you guys still put up posters? Do you frame posters? How do you deal with posters? Ooh, a lot of thumbs up for the book. David Levy, I would pay more for something that is extremely limited and know that I have one of a few pieces of something. Yeah, that's pretty much the goal here. It's like I'm going to make really small runs of all of this physical product, and then give the Patreon patrons first dibs at it, right? So like they can begin pre-ordering before anyone else in the public can. So if they sell out through Patreon first, well then, you know, the rest of the world is kind of shit out of luck, right? So I want to make sure that the physical products that I release are really high quality, and, you know, something that people want and find unique and cool and has, you know, like value. And that's something that's kind of harder to find these days. So, that's really, really important to me. Mia Rauch, what is the meaning behind the new video? I guess you're asking about ebb and flow. Uh, nah, can't tell you. It's art is subjective. What it means to me is not what it means to you. You've gotta watch it yourself and decide what kind of feelings it makes you experience. Because I remember when I was young, and whenever I would hear my favorite artists kind of like lay out the whole meaning behind their work, it spoiled it for me, because in the end, what it meant to them wasn't what it meant to me. And when I found out that, you know, X song was about getting drunk with your friends instead of losing somebody you love, or, you know, whatever, it was like incredibly disappointing. Like the mystery was spoiled. So you're just gonna have to figure that out. Oh, yes, you were the one in Vienna with the absinthe. I remember drinking that during our technical difficulties. Thank you. Or should I say vielen Dank? Lenore asks, doesn't streaming force you to be online all the time? Well, I mean, not 24 hours a day. I don't need to I don't need to be awake and online for Spotify to work. But if you're talking about streaming like this, yes, of course. But I'm talking about streaming in terms of, you know, Spotify, Apple Music, that type of stuff. Journey asks, do you have a Patreon for fans to support you directly? Why, yes, I do. Absolutely. It's patreon.com/Daniel Graves. I'll put the link right here in the comments so you all can give that a look. It's been going really, really well for the last half year. And within the next couple of weeks, maybe 2 months, I plan on making some slight changes to it for the record. But first, I'm going to let everybody know, like all of the existing patrons know what what I plan to do, and if they're okay with it, and you know, field their suggestions, because obviously, like, Patreon is a community, and I don't want to do anything that isn't what my patrons want, right? Like this is something where we work together to find a way to help support me while I create work that they value, but also giving them what they want in return. Like it needs to be symbiotic, because otherwise it doesn't work. It's just sort of like, here, give me money. That doesn't work. Katie Parsons asks, hey Daniel, will you be coming to the UK? Would love to see you. Well, I have exactly one show in the UK booked this year, and that's at Infest Festival in Bradford, and that's in August. And that is the only show we have planned for 2018 in the UK. Otherwise, you got to wait till 2019. I would contribute to Patreon more if it were like Faderheads, where he releases a new song every month. Um, the problem with that is that you feel financially obligated to release something every month, and I feel like if I were to try to do that, the quality would suffer. It's really important to me not to release anything that isn't up to my standards, and if I'm constantly scrambling to have a track finished once a month, then either those tracks are going to be half-assed or their quality will suffer, or my other work will suffer. Like, creativity can't be scheduled, unfortunately. Like, I'm having a hard time like setting a deadline for this record to be finished. I planned for it to be finished in October. It would have been earlier if I wasn't going to spend the entire summer in Europe, but you know, setting those types of hard deadlines on creative endeavors, it usually just doesn't work out well, in my opinion. So as much as I respect Sammy and, I love his work, I think that for me and artists in general, trying to do Patreon on a per creation basis or creating a new song every single month is just it's just impossible. If it were a podcast or something like that, of course it'd be totally different. But I don't know. I just can't write a song every month. Malice Mouse. Wait, who said that? Somebody says that I should make hoodies. I do have hoodies. I've got hoodies right now in the web store. They are absolutely available and shipping now. Yeah, somebody said that I should put the link to the Patreon in the description. Once this live stream ends, I will absolutely do that, and I'll also put a link to the web store so that you can, get a hoodie or a t-shirt. Whatever you want. I come to this channel for human music, but where is the human? Asks Marcus. Me? I'm the human. And it's also close to human, so it's like almost human, right? So get with it, bro. Phobos Maelstrom, I didn't know you had merch. Dude, where you been? I got all the merch. All the merch all the time. I got a web store. I got t-shirts. I got hoodies. I got fucking Christmas ornaments. I'm all up in that merch game. Martin Gore. You want me to collaborate with Martin Gore on this album? I'm going to need a lot of fucking Patreon supporters in order to afford a Martin Gore collaboration. Think a little bit smaller, guys. Adam Death Stars, have you ever been to Hungary? If yes, how did you like it? Yes, I've played in Budapest twice. And I am playing, I will give you the date right now, in Hungary this summer again. So you've got to, there we go. Oh God, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this, am I? Oof. Okay. Where's the name of this festival? It's in Hungarian, and it's not a word that I can even pronounce. All right. Well, look, I will also put the live dates in. I will also put the live dates in the description so you can see when we're playing in Hungary. But it's going to be this August. What bands did you listen to? What bands do I listen to now, or what bands did I listen to when I was a kid? When I was a kid, I listened to Marilyn Manson and Michael Jackson, and now I listen to Architects and Michael Jackson. Manuel Brown suggests, what about having a song completely made on sounds of your patrons? Each one should send noisy self-made sample in, and you create some cool stuff out of this. That is not a bad idea. I'm happy to write that down. I'm not sure if non-musicians would want to take part in that, unless you're literally just suggesting like they send in any audio recording like that they made from their phone, which could also be cool as well. I was also considering the idea of writing a song with the patrons, right? Like, so I come up with an idea, and then I send that to them. They can hear it, and then people vote on which direction it should go, and that would really kind of tie them to the creative process. So it's not a bad idea. Can absolutely do something like that. Leah Life says, warum lernst du Deutsch? Naja, ich habe in Deutschland gewohnt. Ich habe auch in Österreich gewohnt und meine Frau ist Österreicherin. Deswegen habe ich Deutsch gelernt. Jen and the Doxies, would be awesome to have stuff like official t-shirts or something, like band merchandise, because I have official t-shirts. Or are you talking about for patrons, like t-shirts for just the perfectionists? Because that's something that's also not a bad idea. Eternal Shadow, I'm still hammering my Cell Dweller collab idea, Daniel. Sure. I did work with Clayton. Well, I didn't work with Clayton, but I had contact with him when I did the Cell Dweller remix like 2 years ago. That was really cool. It was a lot of fun. That's entirely possible. So we shall see. To you, Hardstar, I want to see you live. The last time you were in Frankfurt, I missed your event because I couldn't find tickets. I hope I have more luck next time. You can come see us at Amphi Festival in July. Finally playing the main stage, or playing the main stage for the first time in many years, because 2 years ago, the 4,000 capacity small stage ran out of space, and hundreds of people missed our show and complained to the promoter, and now we're on the main stage. So it's good. Journey asks, are you at the Mechanismus Festival in Sweden? Seattle. What the fuck? Sweden. No, because I lost my drummer, and so I had to cancel that tour. I had to drop out, unfortunately. Yes. But Ghost Feeder replaced us. I went and saw them on Saturday here in LA, supporting Grendel and Covenant, and it was awesome. So I think that you should still go as well. What do you think about Jesus Christ, the Savior of the world? I think that all religions are uh, fairy tales. Will you set up a European web shop? I am in the process of trying to do that, but it is incredibly difficult because there are a lot of different companies that will do it for you, but they take all your fucking money. I'm talking like 80% of the money that you make. So um, I just can't afford that. Like, as I said, like this whole operation is run by me. The only way that I pay for my apartment and my electricity and my car and all that kind of stuff, like it's through the band and merchandise and all the kind of like side hustle shit. So, Germany is like my biggest market, and if I were to sell my merch rights away and only get 20% of everything that I sold, I would be in the poorhouse like immediately. So essentially, I'm trying to find the right person and location in Germany where I can establish a web shop, but that's easier said than done. So, between now and then, I hope that you would consider still purchasing stuff from me in my web store. I know the shipping to Europe is just fucking unfair, but yeah, your support means the world to me and keeps this operation moving. Get a Discord server. I don't know what that is. I'm not a technical guy, guys. Like, I know I make electronic music, but I hate computers. I hate technology. I hate anything like that. It's fucking so boring to me. I just want to make music and not even deal with technology or anything like that. Do you like Project Pitchfork? Absolutely. Absolutely. Troy, would love to see you do something more under necessary response. I don't know if you missed the rant that I gave like 15 minutes ago, but dude, like necessary response was never, ever, ever supposed to be a side project. I wrote those songs to be aesthetic perfection. Like Close to Human was supposed to have Tomorrow and Forever and Spilling Blood on it, but my fucking label at the time was like, no, you can't have a band that has this many different sounds. Please put out 2 albums. And so because I was young and stupid and naive and I thought that this label knew what they were talking about, I did it. And so never again. I've re-released all those songs as aesthetic perfection as they were meant to be. Fucking end of story. How do you not lose your mind with all that you manage? Who says I don't? I quite often feel very overwhelmed. Uh, but when you're doing something that you love, like something that you're passionate about, it's all worth it. Because I know so many people that are in jobs that they hate, right? Like, or at the very least, they're doing something that they don't give a shit about, um, and that work stresses them. And all they can ever think about is like, when do I punch out? When do I get to go home and do something else? Like, I love what I do. Like when I wake up in the morning, I'm excited to uh, to get to work on this project that is like my life. It's it's rewarding and it's fucking insane, but it could be. I would rather be driven insane by doing my own work than driven insane by doing somebody else's work, right? Did you find a new keyboardist? Missed you at the Covenant show. Well, yeah, I was very, very upset that we couldn't join that tour. It was actually my drummer who left, and I have not found a replacement drummer yet, but we have now officially made Elliot a full member. We are working on getting him a visa so he can be on all future tours on all continents of the world. Where is the rum? Dude, it is 12:38 in the afternoon. I'm still on coffee. I love coffee. I love filter coffee more than I love any fancy coffee. You can have as many different sounds as you like, says Jackie. That's right, Jackie. I agree. I am not Trevor. I missed everything. Didn't get my YouTube reminder. Also can't wait for your next tour. Well, you've got 20 minutes left. I'm still doing this. And I'm going to be archiving this so people can fucking watch it till their heart's content till the end of time. This will stay up here. Me Hurunger, is there a chance this summer that you put an older song in your playlist for Amphi or Mariluna like Architect or Coward? A lot of people don't know this. I lost all of Close to Human in a hard drive crash. Like, all of those songs are gone. I don't have any of the old music from that record. So in order to play those songs live again, I would need to do what I did with Blood Spills Not Far From the Wound. I would need to like rebuild it. But at least with Blood Spills, I had like all the original source material. So like 80 or 90% of that reboot is the original recordings. Now, I don't have anything left of Close to Human. I'll need to rebuild the whole album from the ground up. I would like to do that. It's just a matter of time. So I'm thinking of making it a goal on my Patreon so that people could, basically tell me, hey, this is what we want you to do with your time. Like, we're willing to help you finance this. Because, again, I only have so many hours in the day, right? Like, again, this is all me. I'm doing all the management. I'm doing all the booking. I'm doing the fucking web store. When you see photos in the web store, I took those photos, right? So, it's just really, really hard to find the time to do all these sorts of projects. Like, I would love to redo Close to Human and then fucking tour it. Like, I would love to do a Close to Human tour where I reboot that album and play like 75 capacity clubs. But I just need the time and the means to do it. Supermoth, any more collaborations or features coming soon? Well, I'm doing some remixes right now. I know that I said that I wouldn't while I was working on the album, but I got to pay the bills, and I also have some friends that I think are really, really talented, and they needed a remix, so I'm working on it, doing my usual thing where I, kind of rewrite the song and do guest vocals and stuff like that. I don't know if you missed it, but the brand new album that I'm working on is going to be filled with as many diverse, eclectic collaborations as possible. That's kind of like the goal here. So, that's a long way of saying yes. Please bring in Mara. I don't know. Mara, the internet requests you. Sorry, guys. She doesn't want to come. How many live performances do you have? Dude, I've played like hundreds of live concerts. Do you still have the hard drive from the crash? No, I don't. It was an old Mac G4 that I fucking wiped and sold years ago. Katie Parsons, have you ever taken your wife on tour? I mean, she comes and visits from time to time, but she has her own life, and she does shit that's way more. She's a scientist, so she does shit that's like way more important than me. So she tries to take as much time as she can. to come visit me, but you know, we each have our respective work and respective lives. How much would your rate be to DJ? Robbie, if you want me to DJ your party or event, just shoot me an email. It's pretty easy. How much do you charge for a remix? If you do a remix for another artist, just shoot me an email. My email address is public. It's on my website. I'm checking it all the time, every day, like every other fucking neurotic person in the world. So please just shoot me an email. I'll let you know. We can go from there. Mia says, I thought you were out of albums. Well, it looks like you are late to the party because I'm here announcing that I'm making a new record. And it's because you guys basically pestered me into doing it. So I'm really glad you did because I like a challenge. I think that making a new record in this current environment is going to be difficult. It's going to be very fucking expensive. And I have to finance it all myself. So I hope you guys buy it. I hope you guys sign up on Patreon. Otherwise, I'm going to be in the poorhouse. But hey, other than that, it'll be fun. Would you work with Vazi Valis? Of course I would work with Vazi. I love Vazi. Does Mara still like her mini pillow? Yes, she does. It's in her toy box that she knocks over and pulls out stuff, whatever she feels like playing with at the time. Adam Green, we pestered you into making an album. You're welcome. Yes, sir. Adam, yeah, I'm not sure if you missed it. What I'm going to do is instead of doing a traditional crowdfunding campaign, I believe that I'm going to have pre-sales available on my website for just people that want the product and don't want to take part in any sort of like large campaign or get involved like at the same level as, you know, patrons like yourself. I'm pretty sure you're a patron if I remember the names correctly. Hope I'm not fucking mixing you up with somebody else, but patrons I believe will be getting first dibs on the limited physical product. So the idea is that if people sign up for Patreon, they get the web store discount, and they also get, I'm going to restructure some of the tiers. I'm going to post that in the Patreon page probably tomorrow or the day after so that we can all discuss what you want and how I can make the whole process enjoyable for you guys. What kind of rewards, what kind of goals you would want to see. But anyways, the idea is that patrons will get early access to pre-sales, which means if you guys buy up all the product first, then everybody else is fucking shit out of luck. So, yeah, that's what I think I'm going to do. So we'll all talk about that, sometime this week. Katie Parsons, are you going to be at the merch table again? And do you remember me? Yes, I do. I met you in Bristol. Yes, I met you in Bristol. And you write me on Facebook from time to time. I do remember. And you wanted a hug, I think. Awesome, Adam. Okay, cool. So I remembered you correctly. Yeah, that's the plan. I'm going to make sure that patrons have, you know, first dibs on pretty much anything that I'm going to put out for this album. And of course, like, you know, the discount and all that kind of shit. So the way that it's going to be structured is that anybody can pre-order the album, but, you know, patrons get first dibs on it. They get discounts, you know, but just they get preferential treatment, so to say. With how much you've got to manage, asks the Death Pie, what is your ultimate chill out? Also, of all the people you've ever met or had the chance to work with, who would you love to work with? What is chill out? I think I don't really stop between waking up and going to bed. Like I wake up, I have coffee, I answer my emails, I go to the studio, I come home, I go running, I eat dinner, I either go back to the studio or I watch TV, and then I answer emails, and then I go to bed. That's pretty much my life. Cordless Kid, will you ship the new album to Sweden if somebody wants it? Yeah, I ship worldwide on my web store. So if you want it, I'm happy to send it your way. CW Train, I have nearly finished the piano sheet music transcription of Devotion. If and you want a MIDI copy, accuracy not strictly guaranteed. Send me the actual sheet music, and I'll have somebody who's much more well versed in this read it. I think Lauren, the pianist who played it, might be able to have a look and say, yes, that's correct, or no, that's not correct. So we'll go from there. But yes, I would love to see it. So please send it over. My email address is on my website. I like to keep myself easy to reach. Lenore Gomes asks, what level patron would you need to be? For what? For getting access to the pre-order of the album? I believe that's one of the lower tiers, if I haven't mistaken myself. Yeah. Even $1 supporters will have early access to the pre-sales. I want to make sure that people know that I really, really appreciate their support because, times are tough and people that have the means and the desire to support the arts are incredibly noble, in my opinion. And, I think that anybody who's going to take the time to sign up to Patreon and give me, even $1 a month, that's what, $12 a year. It's still something, right? Like it still really helps keep the machine going. So I want every single patron, every single supporter to have the opportunity to pre-order the album before anybody else. Just to let you guys know that I love you. Would I be able to get your autograph next time I see you? Of course. Of course, I always have a Sharpie in my pocket for that very reason. I try to be prepared. Would you consider doing a tour for the acoustic stuff? Yeah, I mean, I would love to, but it's a time and money issue. I mean, those musicians were expensive. The instruments are impossible to transport. How do you even know if you're going to get people to come see such a thing? Like, we actually had people walk out on that show because they thought it was an electronic show. They thought it was like a normal Aesthetic Perfection show, even though the fucking flyer or fucking poster is me like with a martini glass in board shorts and a tuxedo, and it clearly says like acoustic show all over the top of it or all over the place. People still showed up and were like, what the fuck? Fuck you. Fuck this. And left. They spent like $25 on tickets and left. Like, yeah, we'll see. Carl Peaston, you have such an inspiring optimism with your work. How do you stay motivated every day? The truth is I'm actually a pretty like negative guy. I'm very glass half empty type person. I always initially see the negative aspects of any situation, but I found as I got older, like that mindset was incredibly toxic and really working against me and my motivation and my just overall happiness. So I made a conscious effort to be more positive, to be more glass half full. And at the beginning, it was incredibly difficult because, like a situation would happen and my initial response would be to write some like negative social media post about it and be like, bah, fuck that, fuck this, fuck the world. See, I told you everything's fucked and everybody's fucked and fuck this. But then, you know, I started being like, no, resist the urge, turn it around, think about something positive, or think about something that you can gain from this negative experience. Or just think about, you know, the fact that I'm lucky enough to be a musician with awesome fans who want to support me. And then it's like, once you start forcing yourself to think more positively, it starts occurring naturally. And it's really, really weird. Like, if I felt this change in real time. And, you know, since I've been doing this, since I've been doing this for the last, I want to say 2 years, like consciously. I mean, I've been going in that direction before then, but I think it was like 2 years ago, I made this like conscious effort. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm only going to interact with positive people. I'm not going to fucking get in these internet fights anymore. It's fucking stupid. It just started going better. Like, things started going better for me. My interactions with people got better. Like, the way that I engage with you guys is so much better. And so now I take all of that like negative shit that I feel all the time and I put it into my music. I put it into my work so that I can try and be more positive in my everyday life. And it's been really, really helpful and really, really motivating. And I know it sounds like some self-help guru bullshit, but you know, there is neuroscience to back it up that the more you force yourself to think a certain way, you kind of restructure your brain, and it becomes natural. It becomes second nature. So. Katie says, would you consider singing A Nice Place to Visit again? Yes, we are adding that to the set list in the summer. So I guess you're going to have to come see us in Bradford. Are you excited to come back to the UK for Infest? Absolutely. I cannot fucking wait. I've never played Infest. Like, I've been doing this since 2005, and I never got to play Infest. And I was always a little bit bitter. I was like, why don't they ever invite me? But I think it was mostly because, like, I played the UK always that year, and they always wanted bands that hadn't played the UK within a 6-month or year period. So this downtime made them finally decide to invite me. So it's really cool. Do you agree that music is emotion given sound? Well, I think that it's emotion that is expressed through sound. I think note combinations and words and all that kind of stuff expresses emotion in a much deeper way than I can just with words alone. Every time we come to Australia, you skip Adelaide, and I never have the money to travel to Melbourne. Well, I'm trying my best to get back to Australia, but it doesn't look like Adelaide is on the calendar again. We'll see. We'll figure it out. I got to talk to the promoters actually soon, because I really want to return to Australia. So if you and all your mates, see, I can talk like you guys. Oh, that's embarrassingly bad. Can I edit that out? Okay, if you and your friends really would like to see an Aesthetic Perfection show in Adelaide, let us know, because if it's worth going out there, I would love to do it. Are you a secret juggalo? Dude, I'm white trash. Of course I'm a juggalo. Fucking hell. I grew up smoking weed out of a bong that was made out of a beaker with a red wine for water and a giant Insane Clown Posse sticker on it. Like, of course I like Insane Clown Posse. I just went and saw Insane Clown Posse. It's fuck. I mean, like, I'm not like a whoop whoop screaming juggalo, but I get it. Like, I like their music. I like them. I get the culture. I totally back it. Does this newish mindset change how you're writing? I don't know, because a lot of things influence the way that I write. I mean, it must, but on a conscious level, I have no idea. Um, but it must. When I think about it, yeah, I mean, it really must affect it. But um, I don't know if it's as much as, like the sort of like songwriting stuff that I study, notes that I take. Like I'm actively, constantly trying to be a better songwriter always. Um, so I study it as much as I can. And that affects it too. Mention all the albums you're listening to right now and tell us your band recommendations. Uh, I mean, shit. All I listen to is Architects and the metal band from the UK and Borns. I don't know how you say it. That guy from Michigan makes that weird electro pop. I love him. Still love Paris. I love Paramore. I love The Weeknd. I love Michael Jackson. I still listen to Marilyn Manson. All this stuff. If it's good, I listen to it. Oh. my positive my new positive mindset makes me not want to respond to this question, but since it's just in front of me right now, I feel like I should. Dark electro scene is dying. You were one of the guys who could revive it, since there is not many bands projects that can or could do it. Dissector, Distorted Memory, why you decided to go cheap pop? I don't want to make the same music over and over again. I think to stuff yourself into a corner and say, this is the only kind of music that I can make, is artistically uninteresting, inauthentic, and lazy. If I were to be making the same music now that I was making in 2008, it would be fucking boring. It wouldn't be interesting. Like, that sound sounds like it's from 10 years ago. I'm interested in the future. When that album came out, when A Violent Emotion came out, a lot of reviewers said that it was too pop and that I had sold out. Okay? I've always attempted to make forward-thinking music that was more melodic, more interesting, and more challenging than the music that was available from everybody else at that time. That's what I'm still doing today. I'm creating music with the same spirit and intention that I always have. I want to make edgy, interesting, catchy music. So cheap pop, no. And I think if you understood anything about music, you would know how difficult it is to write a good pop song, to produce a song properly instead of just throwing a whole bunch of shit into your music production program and having it be a noisy mess. That's easy. Making a well-structured, well-arranged, well-produced song is very, very difficult. So I reject your question. Bill Cowlitz facts. Ooh, Bill Cowlitz. I like Tokyo Hotel's new stuff. What is the butterfly moth about exactly? I don't get tattoos that have meaning. At least not any sort of like deep meaning. I just get stuff that I think is pretty or cool or fun or whatever. Like I wanted something that was very striking and very different, especially for a man. Like, guys don't really get butterfly tattoos, right? So I just wanted something different. So I took all these different elements of moths and butterflies, and I had my artist mix them together into this, which I think came out wonderful and has no deeper meaning other than that I love pretty things. Okay, I'm going to try to do a couple of more questions here. And then I've got to go eat lunch. What is the most influential album you made, in your opinion? Well, I mean, it's obvious that A Violent Emotion was like the kind of turning point for me. I think I just got lucky that the zeitgeist was there. Like, you know, people were ready for something different, but not too different. And you know, I think my collaboration with Christian on the mixing and all that kind of stuff, like he just gave it a great sort of European sound that people really enjoy from that kind of music. So I think, you know, we struck while the iron was hot. We got lucky with the zeitgeist, and, you know, the album was just kind of like a surprise hit. And then, you know, I sort of believed that people were going to kind of carry on in that direction with me, which is why I did All Beauty Destroyed the way that I did, but it was far too ambitious. I think I wasn't nearly as good of a songwriter or singer as I thought I was or wished I had been. So, you know, that album just kind of went... and then Till Death was just kind of trying to pick up the pieces, I guess. And I still think I'm most proud of Till Death, but I can recognize that... A Violent Emotion was the most influential record that I have to date. I think the next one is going to be awesome. I think you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised / horrified. Lola Blue, oh my God, I went to a meeting and you're still talking. Awesome. Best day at work ever. Well, yes, I'm still talking just for a couple more minutes though, but this will be archived and you can go back and see all the shit that you missed while you were at your meeting. All you said about negativity and the struggle to think positively, using your creative work as an outlet for those negative emotions, definitely shines a new light on some of your lyrics. I feel like perhaps that's why your music speaks to so many people on such... Come on. Don't make me lose it. I lost it. This fucking chat. Okay. So many people struggle with staying positive on the outside while fighting the negativity on the inside. I don't think that I'm unique in being so pessimistic. I think most people are. And I think that the reason that most people don't do something about it is because it's hard. It is very, very hard. But like anything in life that's worth really doing, it's hard. Like nothing that's truly worth something is easy. And I think a lot of stuff holds us back: fear, laziness, all those things. But it's really, really worth it. So I hope that if I inspire anybody to do anything, it's to express their negative emotions in a positive and constructive way so that they can be well-functioning, halfway well-adjusted people in their everyday lives. I mean, we're all fucked up, right? Like, we're all fucked up in our own ways, but it's how we manage that and make use of it that matters. Still have the Skull Cat. What's Skull Cat? I have every single gift that any fan has ever gotten me. So I can't remember this thing specifically, but I have it all. Do you prefer Marvel or DC? I don't really care. I'm not like a comic book guy. I like music. I'm not even really into anything but music. My whole life is music. Do you have access to YouTube super chats? I don't think so because I don't have any idea what that is. Chris asks, what was your inspiration for Love Like Lies? I think the lyrics are pretty transparent, but as I said earlier, I try not to divulge the meaning behind songs, videos, that type of stuff, because I think that art is subjective and it's really, really important for people to filter that art through their own minds, their own experiences, and figure out what it means to them. Because what it means to me is not necessarily what it means to you. And I think that that's probably the most sort of like beautiful thing about art is its subjectivity. Because just because I wrote it thinking one thing doesn't mean it can't mean a million other things. All right. All Beauty Destroyed literally changed my life. Well, thank you. Uh, I think it was very damn clear how you were growing. It breaks my heart that you weren't happy with it. I mean, come on, we're never happy with anything, right? Like, nothing's ever perfect. But, I mean, I think All Beauty Destroyed really showed that I was, like, the album itself was just, I was really stretching myself too thin with what I was attempting to do and what I was actually able to do with my skill set at the time. But I think that it was a really, really good learning experience because, you know, I got a little bit too uh, arrogant after the success of A Violent Emotion. I just thought that like anything that I would do after that would be a success. And then it was a huge reality check and, you know, how much people fucking hated that record. It sent me into a depression for like 6 months or something like that. I was horrified. It was so miserable. But I think that was probably the turning point, like towards turning me into who I am now, because I realized, fuck, I'm not infallible. I'm not perfect. I have all of these areas where I need to grow: my production, my singing, my songwriting, all this kind of stuff. So it was after that that I realized I was like, okay, I've got to work on all of this kind of stuff if I ever hope to turn these ambitious ideas into reality, because clearly I can't do them without these skills. So that was what certainly put me on the road to trying to be like who I am now. Could you ever do a concert near Birmingham? We have played in Birmingham a couple of times, but really, like, the way tours are booked, we don't choose the cities that we go to. The promoter chooses the cities. They make an offer, and if there's just no desire for people to see us in Birmingham, I can't really do anything after that. Do you still do pub crawls? Kind of. I'm planning on doing one this summer. It's just I'm working on so many other things that are just like way more important, you know, like an album and web stores and remixes and production and all that kind of stuff. I wish I just had like a film crew so I could just tell them, hey, I'm going to do this thing, and then have them show up so I don't have to fucking shoot it and edit it myself. So long answer, yes. Short answer, I don't know when I'm going to get to do it again. To be honest, I fell away from AP after All Be Destroyed. Then years later, I decided to check it, and heard Till Death. I was stoked it was Poppy. Yeah, look, man, I get that as artists, we kind of like fall in and out of people's lives. That's just kind of the way it works. Like, so often, like, as an artist, your music connects with people just at the right moment in their lives. And then, you know, you're kind of like oscillating in different ways. And you connect at one point and then you move away again. And that's totally cool. Like, I have my own artistic goals and visions and path, and you've got your own kind of tastes and you know, whatever's going on in your life. It's just really cool to have connected with people at one point. because I don't think people ever lose that connection. When you really connect with someone on an artistic level at some point in their life, they'll always remember you, even if they fall away. And so I'm cool with that. And I just hope that maybe sometimes I pop back up again. But we'll see. I mean, I can't complain about the way things are going now. I'm more happy with my work and my life and my the way that the band is working now than I ever have been. Peter, if you want to throw money at me, throw money at my Patreon. Even just $1 a month is incredibly helpful. So I will put the links to that in the description for the archive of this live stream. And I will also put links to the merch store. Again, I am working on a brand new album, and it is all fucking because of you guys. You all were very vocal, pestering the shit out of me to get me to do this, but when you talk, I listen. So thanks for hanging out with me. Thank you for taking the time to, fire questions at me that I hopefully answered adequately or at least somehow coherently. I often tend to trail off, lose my train of thought, that type of thing. But, my wife and I have amazing sex with your music playing. Well, fuck, that is the perfect way to end this. Yeah, really. Thank you guys so much. I will be posting more information about the album as it develops. If you want to get more involved, please have a look at my Patreon page and consider becoming a supporter. Otherwise, please subscribe to my YouTube here. Follow me on Facebook, Twitters, Instagrams, all the different places. And thank you guys fucking for hanging out with me. Let's do this again soon.